Kevin Garnett is a Hall of Famer, a 15-time All-Star, a Defensive Player of the Year, an MVP, and an NBA champion. But did you know during his prime with the Minnesota Timberwolves, he only got past the first round of the playoffs once? In this video, we're diving deep into Kevin Garnett's complex journey with the Timberwolves. We'll explore his dazzling highs, disappointing lows, and his statistical dominance in the league during his time in Minnesota. Stick around till the end as we examine why KG, one of the most versatile and dynamic power forwards of all time, had limited postseason success with the Timberwolves. The answer might surprise you. Now, let's rewind a bit. The Timberwolves drafted KG with their 5th pick in '95. Keep in mind, he was the first dude to jump straight from high school to the NBA since way back in 1975. Now, the Timberwolves are like the new kids on the block. They'd only been in the NBA for 6 years. Yeah, just 6. He started his NBA journey on the bench, and both he and the team had some growing pains. They were kind of like a band trying to find out its sound, but oh boy did he find his groove in the later half of the season. Defensively, he was like a Swiss Army knife, could guard multiple positions decently well. He wasn't a defensive god yet, but he was showing signs, man. Quick feet, excellent shot blocking, especially when helping out his teammates. When he finally got the starting nod, the dude was lighting it up. Averaged 14 points, almost 9 rebounds, and threw in some assists, steals, and blocks. And he was efficient too, 53% from the field. By the time the season was wrapped, it was clear as day. The Timberwolves had found their franchise cornerstone, and he was fresh out of high school. Kevin Garnett even broke into the All-Star scene in his sophomore season. Thanks to that performance, he and Tom Gugliotta stamped their names as the Timberwolves' first ever All-Stars. Fast forward to August 1997, drama alert, KG and his agent were going back and forth with the Timberwolves about a contract extension. But hey, crisis averted. They inked a 6-year deal worth $126 million just an hour before the deadline. Record-breaking contract, folks. Some even say it's why the '98 NBA season got lockout shortened. Despite the haters, KG kept leveling up. The team won a record 45 games and even snatched their first ever playoff wins. Heading into the '99 lockout shortened season, KG was putting up career best numbers all around. The man averaged nearly 21 points, 10 boards, 4 assists, 2 blocks, and 2 steals. Solid gold. For the first time ever, he even made an All-NBA team. Yep, the 3rd team, but still pretty epic. Offensively and defensively, KG was the alpha wolf. Sadly though, the Timberwolves struggled as a team. They lost Tom Gugliotta to free agency. He was a 20 points per game guy. And can you believe they traded Marbury, KG's buddy, just 18 games into the season? What were they thinking? The season went downhill fast. Ended the year at 13-19 and barely snuck into the playoffs, only to get knocked out by the Spurs again. In 2000, KG was an absolute beast. I mean, the guy was dropping 23 points, snagging 12 rebounds, and dishing out 5 assists per game. Almost 2 blocks and steals each game? Yep, he did that too. Dude was on fire, hitting half of his field goals and nailing 76% from the charity stripe. Fast forward to 2001, and it's pretty much the same old song and dance. Well, with one exception. KG actually showed up in the playoffs this time around. Yet, despite 3 consecutive years of MVP caliber performance, not to mention making all the elite NBA teams, and even clawing his way up to the top 5 for MVP, the guy couldn't get past the first round of the playoffs. It's like he's stuck in a hoops version of Groundhog Day. The tale of Kevin Garnett and the Minnesota Timberwolves, where the drama was as hot as KG's performances. You see, KG was tearing it up on the court, but the Wolves, not so much. And no, it wasn't KG's fault. It was a shady business going on behind the scenes. Enter Joe Smith, the young gun drafted first in 1995. This guy signs a measly $1.75 million deal with the Wolves in '99. Yeah, you heard that right. And the dude was only 23 with some solid years already behind him. Even crazier, he just turned down an $80 million deal from Golden State. I mean, come on, who says no to that kind of cash? Obviously, the NBA smelled something fishy and started poking around. Lo and behold, they find his secret handshake deal between Smith and the Timberwolves. The plan? Smith takes peanuts for 3 years, helping the Wolves get what they call his bird rights, then they'd have the green light to go over the salary cap and lock him in with an $86 million deal. You'd think they were writing a spy novel, huh? But this isn't James Bond, it's the NBA. And these kinds of shenanigans are big no-nos. Turns out, the cat got out of the bag because some legal drama between NBA agents. So, what's the fallout? Commissioner David Stern slaps the Wolves with a $3.5 million fine and benches their GM Kevin McHale for a year. McHale? He plays a "I didn't know it was illegal" card. Classic. But here's the real kicker. The NBA yanks away 5 of the Wolves' first-round draft picks. Yeah, they later dialed it back to just 3, but the damage was done. Poor KG, one of the league's top players, was stuck with a team that couldn't draft worth a dime. Think about it, that 2001 pick they lost could have been a game changer like Tony Parker or Zach Randolph. So, back in 2003, the Wolves hit the jackpot by snagging Latrell Sprewell from the Knicks and all-star in the making Sam Cassell. Cassell was a scoring machine, racking up an average of 20 points per game in 2004. And Sprewell? Man, he was a defensive wizard and gave KG another ally in the front court. With Cassell's sharpshooting and playmaking, KG was free to do his thing. And boy did he ever. KG was straight up balling that year, hitting half his shots, sinking nearly 80% from the line, and averaging stats that were off the charts. 24 points, almost 14 rebounds, 5 assists, and a couple of blocks and steals per game. The guy was so good he nabbed his one and only MVP award that season. No surprise there, right? And the team? Oh, they were on fire. We're talking 58 wins and setting all sorts of records, like finishing 7th in opponent scoring and 6th in defensive ranking. It was a pinnacle for the franchise, no doubt about it. Fast forward to the playoffs, the Wolves were unstoppable, cruising past the Nuggets and the Kings. Then they hit a brick wall, the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Now, that was a heartbreaker. They battled hard but ended up losing in 6 games, largely because Cassell's back gave out on him. With their main man down, they had to rely on backups like Derek Martin and Fred Hoiberg. They even experimented by having KG run the point. As versatile as KG was, it wasn't enough, and they bowed out to the Lakers, who ended up being the kings of the West. During 2005-07, KG was absolutely balling. 22 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists on 50% shooting. Dude even led the league in boards from 04-07. But guess what? No playoffs. In fact, they went below 500 in 2 of those years. Ouch. So what happened? Well, Sam Cassell threw his back out in the 2004 Western Conference Finals and never really recovered. Makes sense, the guy was in his mid-30s. As for Latrell Sprewell, he basically walked away after 2005. Said a 3-year, $21 million contract wasn't going to cut it because he had mouths to feed at home. So there goes KG's support system, the guys that helped him win that MVP and set franchise records in 04. Fast forward a bit, and we get to Glenn Taylor finally opening up to trade offers for KG. Can you believe it? For the first time in Garnett's tenure, Taylor wasn't dead set on keeping him around. It was clear the team was stuck in a rut, and KG, though still amazing, was past his prime. Especially tough considering he came straight out of high school and put in years of grind. Aw man, the 2000s in the NBA's Western Conference were an absolute gladiator pit. Picture this, you've got Tim Duncan holding down the fort for the Spurs. Kobe and Shaq are basically the dynamic duo for the Lakers. Steve Nash is running the Suns like he's a video game. And Dirk Nowitzki is doing his thing in Dallas. But here's the kicker. What set these teams apart from the Timberwolves? They had these insane sidekicks and role players who had their stars' backs. While KG was tearing it up solo, these other teams were rolling deep. So, was Kevin Garnett's time with the Timberwolves a failure? Not exactly. Although the lack of deep playoff runs is glaring, KG's influence went beyond the stat sheet. He brought credibility to a new and struggling franchise, rejuvenated fan interest, and remains an iconic figure in Minnesota sports history. He laid the groundwork for future players and set an unparalleled standard for excellence on and off the court. No wonder they had the edge. While Kevin Garnett's Timberwolves career wasn't a fairy tale filled with championships, to call it a failure would be a gross understatement. The impact he left on the team and the league is nothing short of legendary. And there you have it. Sometimes, even a powerhouse like KG can't do it all on his own. See you in the next video.